Now we'll move on to animal tissue. Let us see different types of animal tissue. You take example of any animal. Take ourselves, our body. Our body, it is made up of number of cells, infinite number of cells. But there are only 4 types of tissue in our body. Only 4 types of tissues. In animal, there are only 4 types of tissue. Let us see which are the 4 types of tissues found in case of animal, especially among mammals. One is epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue. Second one is connective tissue. Connective tissue. Third one is muscular tissue. And the last one is nervous tissue or neural tissue. Yes, these are the 4 types of tissue found in case of animals. Epithelial, connective, muscular, nervous. Let us study one by one. First we'll take up epithelial tissue. First we'll take up epithelial tissue. It is commonly called as epithelium. It is one of the simplest type of tissue found in animals. They are closely arranged without intercellular spaces, somewhat like this. See, this is epithelial tissue. What they do? Generally, they cover external surface, as in case of skin. They cover external surface. External surface. Or they form internal lining, like lining of the stomach, lining of the tongue, lining of the heart. Internal lining. Internal lining. So in these 2 places we can find epithelial tissue. Based on structure of the cell, they are classified like this. Epithelial tissues are classified like this. One is, the first type of epithelial tissue is squamous epithelium. This is somewhat squamous epithelium. Squamous epithelium is very flat, plate-like, arranged without intercellular spaces, and they look like tiles of a floor. For the floor, how we put tiles, in the same way it looks. So that is squamous epithelium. Second one, cuboidal epithelium. Cuboidal epithelium means the cells are cube-like. Cells are cube-like. Generally they lie on a basement membrane. Cuboidal epithelium. Third one, columnar epithelium. Again the name tells columnar, column-like or pillar-like, somewhat like this, which lie on basement membrane, nucleus at the base. This is columnar epithelium. And within columnar there is a type called as ciliated columnar. ciliated columnar. That is, there are cilia. Cilia means hair-like structure. They are present. Cilia, hair-like structure, they are present here. Squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, and fourth one, glandular epithelium. Glandular epithelium. Glandular epithelium means here epithelial tissue modified to form glands. Here epithelial tissue modified to form glands. Epithelial tissue modified to form glands. Glands always release some secretions. Glands are of two types. Exocrine gland and endocrine gland. Exocrine gland and endocrine gland. Exocrine glands are commonly called as gland with duct. Endocrine gland without duct. Ductless gland. Now what is duct? Duct is tube or the pipe. If tube is present, it is exocrine. If it is not present, endocrine. Exocrine gland. The largest gland in our body is liver. Liver is example for exocrine gland. Liver releases a juice called as bile juice, which comes out through a duct called as bile duct. Endocrine gland, they are without duct and they always release hormones. They always release hormones. Many examples for such gland: thyroid gland, pituitary gland, adrenal gland. Okay, so these are examples for endocrine gland. Thus, to finally conclude, epithelial tissue, they are the simplest form of tissue found in animal. Point number 1. They form external covering or internal lining. Point number 2. They are packedly arranged without intercellular spaces. Point number 3. Based on their shape and structure, they are classified into different category. Like one which is very flat, plate-like, arranged like tiles of a floor, it is called as squamous epithelium. If they are cube-like, we call them as cuboidal epithelium. If they are pillar-like, column-like, we call them as columnar epithelium. And on that, if cilia are present, we call ciliated epithelium. And if the epithelial tissue modified into gland, we call them as glandular epithelium. Glands are of two types, exocrine and endocrine. Exocrine glands are with duct, or these always release the secretion that comes out of the tube. Example, liver. Liver is exocrine gland. Salivary gland. All these example. Endocrine gland. Endocrine glands are the glands without duct. Without duct means there is no tube. Directly the secretions are released into the blood. Such secretions are called as hormone. Pituitary gland, thyroid gland, adrenal gland. Okay, and so many examples. So now the functions of epithelial tissue. You can take skin as epithelial tissue. So one function, it protects. Protection is one function. Second one, sweat comes out, so it is excretory in function. Second one. Third one, they are present on the inner lining of the stomach and intestine, absorption. Then they are present in glands, so they serve the function of secretion. So like this, they have different kind of function to do. And one more thing, finally, you have to remember the largest gland in our body is liver. Liver is the largest gland present in our body, which releases bile juice. So this is all about epithelial tissue. Next, we will move on to another tissue called as connective tissue. Let us study in detail about connective tissue.